Hey, this is Chris, keeping it real, facts over economics. How are you doing this morning? Have you noticed, my wife said a word yesterday, and I can't remember what it was, but what it means is, I think she called it SizeFlation, or something along those lines. And it's where the price of something stays the same, but the quantity gets less. And if you notice, that is going on quite, like I've noticed it for quite some time now. I mean, this is not a new development, but it seems to be accelerating just a little bit. The best example I can think of is, well, I've got two examples, and one is for a product and one is for a service. So the product is like bags of Doritos. I remember when I was young, a long time ago in a galaxy far away, you could get little bags of chips, and they were kind of small. I mean, they were, I don't know how many ounces they were, but they were hardly big enough to really, satisfy your appetite. All you actually, most of the time, had to eat two bags. And then they came out with this new product, new size. It was the big grab, and I remember that when they started out, they were $1, and they were kind of big. I mean, they were at least a third of the size of a full bag. But as time went by, time marches on, the size of the bag started to get a little smaller, and then the price of the bag kept getting a little higher, until finally we were about back in a situation of having little bags. They were still bigger than the older little bags, but they weren't that much bigger. And so then they come out with a new larger bag, and I don't know what they're called now. They're just larger bags. And now I don't know what they are, $2 or something, $2.50 or whatever. I don't eat convenience store food anymore. I just can't afford it. I mean, it's just way too much money. But still, I think you get the point. I mean, it's just like everything. You go to the grocery store, and the only thing they can't really fool you on is, well, the produce, because it's a certain size all the time, and they can't fool you on the meat because it's weighed by the pound. But just about everything else, if you keep track of it, you'll notice that the size of the container keeps getting smaller. Soup is a good example. I think they actually used to be 16 ounces, and now they're 13 ounces. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. And the price of that skyrocketed. I mean, I can't believe how much a can of soup is now. I mean, for what it is, right? So that's my observation about a product. The service, I'm going to use the USPS and their priority mail. Back in the day, they had, well, they still have, they used to call it parcel post. And it was for packages, you didn't care how long it took to get there. Maybe they were really heavy, or for whatever reason. But it was cheap. It was a lot cheaper. And then they brought out priority mail. I guess priority mail's been out for a really long time, though. But if you remember, several years ago, they basically really started pushing priority mail as the default. And the great thing about priority mail used to be that it was pretty much a 2-day service. There were certain areas, I mean, having sold things on eBay and having shipped a lot of things priority mail, there were a few areas of the country, Arizona being one of them, that it didn't often make it in 2 days, but just about everywhere else, the package would be there in 2 days. I mean, you could count on it. I mean, it was almost as good as overnight. I mean, as far as the dependability of the service. When you get a tracking number, and you're off to the races. Well, I've started noticing lately that priority mail is starting to slip to more of a 3-day service. In fact, the last few times I've shipped something priority mail, or I've had something shipped to me, unless it's really close, like coming from Virginia or something like that, it generally takes 3 days. If it's more than like 300 miles away, or 2 or 3 states away, like things from South Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, generally get there in 2 days. Anywhere else, it's 3 days. I just sent back a computer that I bought on eBay because it didn't work properly, and it's taken a week. I mean, I sent it a week ago yesterday, and I just got word. I mean, I just looked at the tracking, and it just got to like the distribution center just north of Richmond, and it was just a package. I mean, nothing special about it, nothing heavy, nothing oversized. And I've just noticed that it's just not. It seems to be the way everything's going. Like you continually get less stuff, you pay more for it, and the quality continues to degrade. I mean, if the quality was still good, I guess I would not be so unhappy about it. But it just seems to be, that's just the way the world is. It's like I don't know. Like nobody really cares to offer a really good service anymore at a reasonable price. And if they do, they don't do it for very long. So, reminds me of I did my taxes this spring. And I was looking back, one thing I like about, I use Tax Act, and one thing I like about it is they store your records for 4 or 5 years. And so I'm looking back through all the invoices they sent me for how much I paid. And 5 years ago it was $49. Last year it was $150. I mean, I'm using the same forms every year. I'm not using them again next year. Mainly because the IRS, you can do it for free. They've got the stuff online, and you can still do. I don't know that. And I'm a sole proprietor, so I do my Schedule C. I mean, it's really not that hard to do. But I don't have a complicated business, and it's just me, and I don't have any employees, so that probably helps a lot too. But it's just amazing how much more expensive everything's getting, and it's disappointing. It makes you think about the future. I think the main takeaway is it makes you think about the future. It's like, well, do you have money saved? If so, you better start saving more. That's the name of that tune, because if things keep going the way they're going, and prices are doubling, real prices are doubling every 4 or 5 years, it won't take very long for you to eat through retirement. So anyway, on that happy note, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below. Like and subscribe. We appreciate when you do, and we'll see you on the next Financially Sound video.